and welcome back to my channel, TomKat Stitchery. I'm Whitney, and today I've got another little video tutorial for you. This one is kind of a little quick one, but it goes along with my closet case capsule that I'm working on right now that is almost finished. If you've been following me along with Vlogmas, you will know that I just have like a few little things that I need to do to a couple of the pieces, and then I am finished, and I should have that lookbook out to you next week. I'm going to do a different video for the end of this week, but next week I should have my closet case capsule lookbook up for you. So I deviated a little bit from my plans video with the closet case. So I had planned on making a couple of the things. I had planned on making a Cali out of some Liberty fabric that I had. I ended up not doing that. I actually used that fabric for the lining of for a Kelly anorak. And then I did a tutorial that you saw last week where I turned a thrifted button-down shirt into the Cali. So all the patterns got made. I just kind of mixed things up a little bit. Then, if you remember from my, and I'll pop a link to the plans video up here, but I was doing the Caroline pajama top and some 4-ply silk that I had, and I mentioned that I also had a little bit of that same colored silk in a crepe de chine that I'd actually purchased for a dress I was making for my sister, because I thought I might need that for like lining the bodice, and ended up not using it. And I had a yard, and it was only 44, maybe 43 width, 1 yard of this bright blue crepe de chine. Well, I've made my Caroline top, and you'll see that next week, but I then was left with this 1 yard of crepe de chine silk, really nice, and was trying to decide what to do with it. Well, I was looking through, I guess it was maybe even just be on Instagram, and Heather Lou was making an Amy Jumpsuit for her sew frosting. She made one out of velvet. And for whatever reason, it dawned on me, why don't I hack the Amy Jumpsuit, because I have made that before, and I will pop a link up to the video of that up here, where I'm styling it 3 different ways. But why don't I hack that into a camisole top? Because everyone has made the True Bias Ogden cami. I do not own the pattern, mostly because it is a dartless cami pattern, and that just really concerns me with my very full bust that that there's no darts. I feel like I'd have to add darts, and sometimes that can mess with the pattern, and then it just doesn't quite look right. So I just have never purchased that pattern. However, the Amy Jumpsuit is very similar in the top, but it does have darts, so I was able to easily do a full bust adjustment in that pattern. So long story short, I made a camisole by hacking the Amy Jumpsuit pattern into a camisole pattern. Now, 1 yard of fabric was not quite enough. I had to do the back facing in this scrap of silk that I just had in my scrap bin. That, I mean, it's just more purple. It's kind of, actually, it looks almost the same on the camera, but it is more purple in real life. But it's the inside facing. You can't really tell. And I had to cut my facings a little bit shorter than the pattern asks for, because I had to just work with the scraps that I had left. But I was able to get the front and the back out of it. Now, before I show you the tutorial, I do want to make a note that when you see me making my measurements on the pattern again, it's a very easy hack, but when I'm making the measurements, I'm measuring down 15 inches from the underarm seam. 15 inches I know that that's where I like my shirts. And I wanted a little bit longer, well, that's where I like, okay, so the 15 inches is where I like my tops to hit me along my hip line. But I knew on this one, I wanted the side seams to be just a little bit shorter to give myself just a little bit, just a very soft curved hemline on the front and the back, where it's just a little bit shorter. I think I made it, and I talk about it in the tutorial, but I think I made it 1.5 inches shorter at the side seams than in center front. But that's where that number comes from. And my recommendation is either just to measure some shirts that you really like where they hit you on your hip line, or even just to play around with measuring tape under your arm and down to your hip line. And okay, I'm filming a little later today, and that is always an issue with, I feel like I get more phone calls and stuff later in the day. But anyway, I'm going to pop some video of me wearing this, and I am wearing it with my Mimi G, which is Simplicity 8749 suit, which clearly, you know, is a little dressier. There's a million ways that you can wear this cami. It's very simple. It's just a darted front. I used the facing patterns that are included in the Amy Jumpsuit. The Amy Jumpsuit has nice thick straps on it, so it covers my bra strap, which I love. Yeah, I mean, this just lended itself perfectly for just a camisole pattern. I am going to be making the Amy, and there's a few tweaks I still want to make to the Amy. I'm not entirely pleased with my side seams, just because I did the full bust adjustment and then tried to go back to the same waist measurement that the pattern had drafted. Anyway, I feel like I need to smooth that out a little bit more. But I do plan on making an Amy jumpsuit for the spring. I have some fabric that's coming for that, just that I can layer really easily and that kind of thing. But anyway, this just turned in, yes, a great stash buster. Again, 1 yard of 43 width fabric is not enough. 1.5 yards would have been perfect. I needed just a little bit more length in order to get all the way across. And maybe a little bit more width would have helped. But yeah, so anyway, I think 1.5 yards would definitely, or if you just had scraps left over from another project. So I know a lot of people use the Ogden as a scrap buster, but that is going to be what I do with the Amy now. So yes, this is my new favorite camisole pattern. I'm loving it. It's going to get, this one will get wear this winter, and then I'll probably make a whole bunch of them in the spring and summer, because why not? So light and airy and wonderful. So I will now have the tutorial on for you. Leave me any questions you have in the comments. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.